Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today we're going to continue the exploration of the Tome of World Building by Matt Finch of Mythmere Games. In the last episode, I did the initial distinguishable characteristics of the country of Yathkaj on the continent of Roldea. So I've kind of moved things around and put a little chapter 6 countries here, and I've got our country listed here. So we can kind of explore some of the countries through that page, and we will later. But today I wanted to just kind of explore relatively quickly the events. So recent events, right? What has happened recently that might have changed the kind of scenery of the country in which the adventures are going to be taking place. So we'll just go ahead and read the section here. Your country may also have been involved in a cultural level historical turning point that you already generated when you were creating the underlying culture. We have, and actually the plague, I think, called the bovine vomits, which we're going to rename at some point. That's probably the worst generated name I've ever heard. I'm interested what it sounds like in an actual goblin language, because it probably sounds way cooler. I digress. The historical turning point might or might not be linked to the recent event, but it gives you an additional point of reference when creating the country. So we are going to go ahead and make another header here. We'll say recent event. Now, since we don't really have a timeline, we don't really know what the timeline is of the country. Recent is going to be relative, like recent to when we start playing. But let's go ahead and roll a d20 and see what we get. 5. Invasion by barbarians or monsters. This might just be trouble on the borders, or it might be a full-scale invasion. Keep in mind that the border trouble is usually a better source of adventure seeds than an all-out war. Yeah, so about that. I think this right here, recent events, we rolled a 5. Just gonna put that in here. Pull it up. Oops. Okay. Now, interestingly, we already have that there is some contention. Let me see if I can open it up here. I think I have. So we know that there's a conflict between two of these countries, like basically two of these realms have contested area. So I do like the idea that maybe one of them has kind of claimed a bunch of area and has caused this country to basically be like, okay, like this recently happened. We lost some territory basically to these guys. Let's see if I can open it up here. Open. And okay, interesting. Yeah. Oh God, that's kind of perfect actually. So these guys. So if let me switch. Oops, sorry. Let me switch to the browser here real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So. This is Yathkaj here, right? In fact, can I put some text? Put some text on here. Yathkaj. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Can I move text? Can I move things? I feel like I need to understand this better. Maybe this. Does this work? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Regardless. Okay, try not to. You know what? I can just move it like that. I figured it out. Okay, cool. I also kind of I don't like this font. Pick a better font. Oh, you have garbage fonts in here. Man, I gotta find a better tool. That's not fair to you at all. That's nice. That's fine. Tilt neon's good. Good enough. Good enough for gravy. Let's make it bold. It doesn't look the same. Weird. All right. Yathkaj is over here, and this is contested territory. And so I think maybe what happened is the goblin tribes living in these two regions here crossed the river and basically pushed them back and kind of claimed all of this territory here for themselves. And now this kind of contested borderline, Yath-Kaj has been cast out of the eye of the singing automaton, cannot be viewed by Tar-Hartha itself. That's just cool. That's good fiction. So I think that's what we're going to go with. Let me switch us back over to the prep mode. And we'll crack these open here. So invasion by these other countries. I think I'm going to crack this open and take a quick look at our other countries are Sulkarn and Thagantu. So here we're just going to say invasionary forces from Thagantu. And what was the other one? Sulkarn have pushed the Yath-Kaji away from the river and the eye of the automaton, singing automaton of Tar-Hartha. This has caused a massive it's like a huge disgrace, right? Like this is a huge blow to the faithful priest class as the sacrificial can no longer be offered up, and the blessings of Tar-Hartha are believed. Let's see, I guess. And the protection of Tar-Hartha has been lost. We'll call it that. I don't know if that's exactly what's going on, but that feels right to me. Of course, we have tables here for countrywide faction wars, which maybe is a thing. Names for events. So we got names for a plague, names for a war. But does an invasion, I guess we would have a name for it, right? The losing of the thing or whatever. So maybe we'll try this out. Roll once on any column of this table, then once on any column of the next table. So this is a D20. We'll crank that out. So, okay. 12. And I'm just going to see. Okay, so the profane, the cursed, the wandering. I like kind of all of those. And then we'll roll again for part 2 here. So 15. The cursed daggers, the cursed enchanters, the cursed monolith, the cursed traders, the cursed tokens. Not so much. I don't think I like that. I don't think I like that at all. These are kind of dumb. Names for a war. The cursed traders. I think that's actually probably the right. The event is referred to as the cursed traders. Since the invasion began with a trade caravan. Disguising a military force. And it's like a priestly military force. Like it's like a crusade. Like the other goblins got together and were like, it'd be really cool. Let's screw these guys over. Okay, cool. Well, we have a recent event for Yath Kaj and the Yath Kaji. I feel like maybe we can get away with doing Sulkarn as well. Let's see if Sulkarn has a good event going on. I kind of like this events table. Let's see what we can get. Bam. 16. There's a countrywide factional conflict. Other countries and cultures are not involved at this time, but both sides of the conflict are seeking to expand the scope of the struggle. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go recent event. And we'll say 16. And that's the... Oh. Give in too early. It's fine. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, we're going to go down to 622 here. I'm going to roll a D100. So it's a type of faction war. Let's roll it. Bam. 49. 49. Nobles against criminal group. I like that. Let's do this. The aristocracy, which I think is really the various tribal chieftains are at war with powerful criminal bosses who use trade to buy political influence. So that's interesting. I wonder if this is happening after. So they invaded, and maybe the spoils of like taking so much of the territory has caused a schism between the tribal chieftains and the trade goblins. That sounds pretty interesting to me. Let's do one more. Let's kick it out for Thigantu. Recent events. Did I do that one right? I did that right? There's a country. Okay, yeah. We're good. Oh, I didn't write what we rolled. Right? We just did. I just wrote that down. So it was, we rolled a 49. And it'll be nobles against criminal group. Yeah, let's do it that way. That's good. All right, let's go check out the Gantu. We got recent event. Let's roll it. Oh, clear that and give me a D20. Boom, 19. 19. There's a countrywide factional conflict. Other countries and cultures have begun to get involved, sending spies, diplomats, and agents to take advantage of the situation. And Illuminarchy may be involved. Okay, cool. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with grease. Illuminarchy is a term I recently became familiar with because of this book. And we're going to get into that later. It is I think it's chapter 9, maybe, is Illuminarchy. Maybe it's chapter 8. Might be chapter 8, actually. I think it might be the first part of chapter 8. Which we're not going to get into for a while, so I don't want to lead you too far on that. But let's roll up this factional war. I'm going to clear this, and we're going to roll a D100. 98. So we rolled a 98 is workers against guild leadership in towns. Interesting. 98 workers against guild leadership in town. Yeah, okay. A workers' revolt after the collapse of good trade agreements with the Yath Kaj due to the invasion. Seems good. So the workers are all upset because their work isn't as valued anymore. They're probably being treated pretty poorly. Sounds interesting though. I feel like maybe there's like this priest class has kind of infected a lot and is like creating a bunch of kind of political and like militarized drama, and it's kind of affecting everyone. And so like you got the criminal trade organizations like kind of rebelling against it, you got the workers rebelling against it, but you also probably have a fairly strong gripped like religious kind of aristocracy sitting on top who's like continuing to push this militarist agenda. Sounds interesting. It sounds like an interesting region. The Yathkaji, the Sulkarni, and the Thagantu in a tight little web of problems. I think it's going to be fun. Anyway, I thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like these videos, I hope you'll hit the like button. If you want to see more of them, you should subscribe. And if you want to be notified when they come out, you should hit the bell icon. Also, if you'd like to get early access to these videos and my flip through review series of videos and a bunch of other free content, or I guess not free if you pay for it, go to my Patreon, patreon.com/watcherdm. If you want to sign up. It helps me to help others because I actually try and support a lot of other creators like as I'm doing this stuff. So, but you know, don't if you can't. I hope you enjoy the stuff that I make anyway. But you'll get early access to videos and, of course, some bespoke stuff that I only release on my Patreon. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I will see you in the next one.